this, all right? You're on a plane coming in for a landing in Johannesburg. Lights flicker, the cabin crew goes quiet, and something just feels DOS. Turns out it's not turbulence, it's an emergency. And not just any emergency. We're talking the kind that triggers a Phase 3 disaster management response at Or Tambo International Airport, JIA.
Oh, yeah, that's serious business.
You know it.
Yeah.
Listeners wanted to know how JIA handles these intense situations, so we dug into the ACSA Phase 3 disaster management procedure itself.
ACSA being the airports company, South Africa, right?
Exactly. They're responsible for 9 major airports there,
Yeah.
including JIA. And what's fascinating about this document is it's not just about putting out fires, metaphorically and literally. It's about coordinating this intricate dance of responders, both at the airport and outside.
Yeah, it's like a symphony of coordination if you think about it. We tend to picture, the airport fire department as the first line, which they are, but JIA's plan, way bigger.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking South African police service, securing the scene, specialized medical teams, some right there at the airport, others coming in from the surrounding areas. Even the military's on standby.
Now, someone's out there thinking, hold on, the military, for a plane issue.
Right. But it's not always about, combat scenarios. Think hazardous materials if an aircraft is damaged. That needs a whole other set of skills the South African National Defense Force trains for.
And it's not just who shows up, but how they work together. Imagine the chaos if an ambulance arrives before the area is secured, or if medical teams are using different radio frequencies. This document, it makes sure everyone is literally on the same page. And speaking of being on the same page, this is where the communication protocols in this document really stand out.
Yeah. The detail, it's impressive.
It really is. They don't just say, crash on the airfield. It's specific phrases for every possible scenario, every step of the response.
Absolutely. It's like they took years of, real world experience and turned it into this hyper-specific language designed to cut through the tension, make sure every second counts. Like when that crash alarm goes off, and the document even lays out exactly how that happens, by the way, the first thing air traffic control says isn't some panicked message, it's standby runway, followed by the exact runway.
Wow.
No room for error, no wasted time.
And it's everyone, right?
Right.
Not just air traffic control. Every single team, the fire and rescue, medical personnel, everyone's got their communication channels, their protocols.
It's about ensuring a synchronized response when it matters most.
Okay, so let's walk through this. Let's say, using your emergency landing scenario from before, Flight 555 has a near miss on the runway. Air traffic control, using that precise language we talked about, they alert the airport emergency center. What happens next?
It's like a chain reaction, right? Things start happening fast.
Right.
While the fire and rescue teams are racing towards, and it's important to note here, the document stresses specifying the location, so in our case, runway 03L.
Okay, runway 03L, got it.
Other airport personnel are jumping into action, too. The folks in security, they're not just watching the cameras anymore. They're sending teams out to pre-planned meeting points, secure areas inside and outside the terminal. That's where they'll direct passengers, crew, anyone who needs to be moved away from the immediate danger.
It's like this whole other layer of response happening simultaneously.
Exactly. And keep in mind, we're talking Phase 3 emergency here. So it's not just the people on Flight 5555, it's the ripple effect. You've got other travelers, delays, anxieties.
Right, the whole airport's affected.
Exactly. And the document, it even outlines how the duty manager works with the airline and, importantly, the airport's head of security to set up specific zones for family members who are waiting for news, friends meeting passengers, and in a real emergency landing. Potentially even survivors. They even have procedures to get a chaplain on standby. Emotional and spiritual support right when it's needed most.
And that actually brings us to something really important, but often overlooked in these situations. The human element. It's easy to get lost in the weeds,
Yeah.
thinking about fire trucks, security protocols, all the logistics. But this document, it doesn't shy away from the human cost, not just for passengers, but for the airport staff too.
Absolutely. And it's something we're seeing more and more in emergency response planning, the understanding that it takes a toll.
Right. And this document, it really highlights that. There's a huge emphasis on post-traumatic stress counseling.
Oh, for sure. It's not even a question, actually. The document's clear. Any JIA staff involved in a Phase 3, they have to report to the airport clinic. Mandatory checkup.
And not just like the first responders on the scene.
Nope. Everyone. Even if you were managing things from the control tower, you're talking to someone.
Wow. So it's taken very seriously.
It has to be. It's not about being, Nice. It's understanding that even the most seasoned professional, they're affected by this stuff. Ignoring that,
Yeah.
that has consequences down the line.
It makes you realize how intense these situations are.
Exactly.
Something else that struck me, this Phase 3 emergency at JIA, it doesn't just stop at the airport fence, does it?
No way, it ripples outwards. The document's clear about that. They work directly with outside agencies, mainly the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Emergency Center. Think of them as, like, the backup arriving.
Right?
More ambulances, maybe setting up first aid stations outside the airport for those who don't need to go to a hospital.
Right, making sure the hospitals are ready for potentially a lot of patients.
Exactly. And it goes beyond that, too. They've got ways to keep families informed, offer them support, which you can imagine in that situation, people are frantic.
Absolutely. And, we talked about communication being so important in those first few minutes. It's the same when it comes to standing down from the
Oh,
emergencies.
yeah, totally. Things calm down, but it's not a free-for-all. The document's crystal clear. Only one person can downgrade or officially end a Phase 3, and it's not up for debate.
And who's that?
The Foxtrot Tango leader.
Which is.
Basically, the head of the airport fire and rescue service, they're the ones who've got the experience, the on-the-ground knowledge to make that call. No one else.
It's like this controlled return to normalcy after things go haywire.
That's a great way to put it.
So from that initial, heart-stopping moment of a possible emergency landing, all the way to how they carefully stand down the response, JIA's plan, it leaves no room for doubt. It's about ensuring a coordinated, almost dare I say, elegant response to what could be total chaos.
It really highlights how crucial planning is in these situations. Airports, they're already these crazy complex places with so much going on behind the scenes. To have a plan like this, one they've practiced, it can make all the difference.
It really makes you appreciate those little emergency cars they have on planes, doesn't it?
Right, you actually pay attention.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think, as technology changes, new threats pop up, how will plans like this need to evolve? What new challenges are they going to face?
Now, those are some thought-provoking questions for everyone listening. Unfortunately, we're out of the runway for today's deep dive, but we hope this look into JIA's incredibly detailed plan has given you a new appreciation for how much goes into airport safety. And of course, the dedicated people working behind the scenes to make sure your trip goes smoothly. Safe travels, everyone.